Hello, everyone. Welcome. It's been a while since I've done one of these, and I'm back. I tend to do this. I tend to kind of go inside a lot and deepen my own experience and discovery, and then bring it out again. So that's what I've been doing, and and one of the reasons I wanted to come out and start sharing again is because we're in times of great uncertainty, right, and challenge, and for many people there's a lot of fear, right? And when we're working with mind-body and mind-body stuff, if you have symptoms or maybe not, right? This isn't just for people with symptoms. This is for all of us. It's, what we're working with is getting the nervous system and the brain back to optimal adaptability, right? So that it can adapt as challenges come up, and then it can go back into homeostasis. And, our nervous system is it's designed to be highly resilient. I mean, we have this amazing system in our body, but unfortunately, due to generational trauma, habits, unconscious habits, we don't use it optimally. We use it in a very limited way, right? And it's often very unconscious, and it doesn't change, right? And so, here we are, those of us with symptoms, or that have had symptoms, we have this great incentive to discover our own resilience. And practicing resilience, it's not easy. I'll tell you that right now. It's not easy. But none of the mind-body work really is, right? I mean, the symptoms themselves are not easy. And, if we've been able to live with these symptoms, we can learn how to teach resilience, no problem, okay? And once we start doing this, you start realizing how powerful you are. And so here we have these challenges in our world today, and I see a lot of people responding in a lot of different ways, and I understand all of it. The need to find peace, the need to stay balanced, this need to stay grounded. I understand that for sure. But we also want to know that when there's an opportunity to teach resilience, to kind of go for it, okay? And when there's an opportunity, these opportunities usually come in the way of triggers, okay? Stressors, challenges, right? And if we've become aware of how our own system operates, and also our own psychological tendencies, right? Maybe we tend to avoid things when they get difficult, or maybe we don't say things because we don't want to cause problems, or these are the kinds of things we want to become familiar with in ourselves. And of course that's a whole nother subject. But when there's a challenge, and we know our old tendency, it's like, oh my God, this is too much, right? Overwhelm or something of that line. And then we kind of try to manage how we're feeling, right? And that's the old way. Teaching resilience is not about managing anything. It's the opposite. And in this way, we're kind of showing the brain what it's capable of by not managing. So if we have a challenge in front of us, the invitation is to lean towards it, okay? And, if we have mind-body symptoms, we know that going out and doing things that we would normally avoid, maybe we would avoid foods that would trigger symptoms. We know that that's the old way that keeps things stuck by avoiding. When we avoid, run away, hide, that keeps things stuck. When we move towards things, for me, when I had pain, I had to get out there and walk anyway. And that was very difficult, right? But that was teaching the brain that it could do something that it didn't think it could, okay? And when we have a circumstance or a situation that seems scary and we just want to turn it off and turn it out and not deal, right? That keeps us stuck. But when we have a circumstance, that same circumstance, if we lean toward it, right, we're showing the brain that it's capable of adapting. Okay? So it's kind of like going into the unknown a little bit, right? Because it feels really scary. And right now, for some of you, things might feel a little scary or a lot scary. But if we can lean towards it and allow the feelings that come up, it might be anything. It could be anything. It can be terror. It can be incredible anxiety, right? It can be anything. Allow these feelings. And what I do oftentimes is I tell my brain, I'm showing you we're safe. This is like a little mantra that my brain has learned, right? That I started doing 4 years ago when I first started mind body work. I'm showing you we're safe. And I can feel it actually, like, okay, it just needs like that little reassurance kind of thing. And then I teach it the word resilience. We're learning resilience. And I move towards what I'm afraid of. I move towards what I would usually be like, oh God, oh no, right? And I can see that it's working. Yesterday I went to a new dentist and I have to get some work done. And in the past that I would have been like, oh no, having them, start looking in my mouth. I would have been a little bit fight or flighty. I had none of that yesterday. I was amazed. And this is because I've been teaching my brain resilience. I've been moving towards what I'm afraid of, what I would tend to avoid, what would tend to be like overwhelming. Now, this doesn't mean that we always move towards what's overwhelming. We want to be sensitive to our own needs, okay? And there might be times when we do need to withdraw, turn it off, whatever it might be, go inside, reset, which I do with meditation or my mantra or getting quiet. We do what we need to do, but then we come back out again, okay? And that's the resilience. And we're teaching the brain. It's like teaching a puppy. And we're saying, you can do this. And the brain is like, oh, I can, right? And so we're instilling more confidence that the brain never learned. It never learned this. It never learned that it could go towards something that was so scary. Because if we look at ourselves and if our response to something scary wouldn't have been to move towards it. We would have been, even if we have to do it, we're like, oh God, how is this going to turn out? What's going to happen? We would be feeding the fear cycle. We would be feeding the danger perception. But moving towards, and I'm showing you we're safe. We can do this. we're going to make it. It requires resolve. It requires an intention to really, really start creating resilience in your system. Okay? But it's really important if you're doing any kind of mind-body work, or if you want to really evolve your mind-body complex for the embodiment of consciousness. If you want to evolve, you have to teach the brain and the nervous system resilience. Okay? Because habituated responses are not resilient. It's stuck. And I know I talk about this a lot. It's stuck energy. Okay? And I mean, resilience, just think about that word. It's like it can stretch and it can come back. It can stretch and it can come back. And pretty soon, we're not even thinking about it. We're like, oh, I can do that. No problem, I can do that. I know I'll be fine. I can do that. Because we look around and some people can do really scary stuff that we have been like, oh, there's no way I could do that. Now, I'm not talking about jumping out an airplane. I'm talking about like life stuff. And it might start with things like expressing your feelings, or speaking up for yourself, or not running away, or not hiding, right? These are the things that we're here to discover, that we can change. We can adapt. Okay, I hope this was helpful. All right, we'll talk soon.